At SXM, we're taking travel and tourism to new heights. Here we boast spacious check-in areas, 10 passport control points, comfortable departure lounges, and an exciting new airport mall. Finally, there's an airport in the Caribbean that takes your travel plans as seriously as you do. Princess Juliana International Airport. The experience will move you.
At GEBE, our commitment extends beyond utilities. It's about exceptional service. Meet the heart of the operation, the customer service team. With a friendly voice and a helping hand, we're here to address your concerns. Whether it's a billing question or a technical issue, we're dedicated to finding solutions. Your satisfaction drives us. We listen, we act, and we make a difference. GEBE, the power to serve.
And I'll fall on my knee. Tell me how to wait to be. Tell me how to wait to go. Tell me all that I should know. And I'll fall on my knee. Tell me how to wait to go. Tell me how to wait to be. To evoke some empathy. And I'll fall on my knee. Tell me how to wait to go. Tell me how to wait to see. Show me all that I could be.
Welcome to the Late Night Show. Hope everything is okay. Hope everything is all right. I'm your host, Andrew Dick. I think it is only fair, and I think it's only right for the late night to make sure that the 2x4 is still intact. I hope everybody in the 2x4 is okay. The late night has a present for you. All I'm going to say is wood. That's a word of the day. Wood. Beep. Let me go. It's catchy. Shout out to King James. And of course, the Totally Wise. We should have put Shamira in there, man. All right. Now, let me start off with giving you some latest information as to what is going on with the 2x4. Of course, Parliament meeting, or public meeting of Parliament took place this morning, 9 a.m. It was a little bit postponed after because, of course, the Super 7, meaning the opposition, comprising of the National Alliance and the United People's Party, decided to show their power, show their cojones, and showed that they need the assistance of nobody, and the 2x4 need the assistance of them because, of course, 3 members of Parliament did not show up to work because, for whatever reasons. And the Super 7 did exactly what the Super 7 is supposed to do, which is bitch about every single thing that is wrong with his government. Let's go down the lineup of the Super 7 who had the opportunity to speak during the notifications that had to do with just looking at the credentials of the incoming members of Parliament from the Democratic Party, Mr. Kutai, and from the URSM, Richard Bruch. Let's go down the line, Pete. Let's go.
Are there any notifications from the floor at this time? I see MP.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Good morning, colleague MPs, to the media, to the persons in the Tribune. Madam Chair, why are we here today? This meeting was scheduled for last week, Thursday. But Madam Chair, I would like to say and say this today on the floor of Parliament, a house divided cannot rule. And when I look in front of me, I ask myself, where are the members of the 2x4 government? Again, Madam Chair, it is called for the members of the opposition, the Super 7, the outgoing government, the government that shouldn't be there by extension, to once again give quorum so that the people's business can be handled. When I look directly in front of me, Madam Chair, the famous speech, show up. We must show up. Where is the show up? Madam Chair, again, we are here in the House of Parliament, and the big bad wolf, the 2x4 government that was protected. They put on the 2x4, they put on the blocks, they put on the canvas, but today the canvas blew off and it's gone. Why? The 2x4 is down to a 2x3, and if I look good, a 2x2.5 government, because I see no members from the Now faction. On Thursday, I saw no members from this faction, half a member from that faction, but it is said that members of the opposition is playing games, and that's why we didn't have quorum. No, let the truth be told on the floor of Parliament today. The reason that this meeting is postponed, adjourned, and called again today was the mere fact that on last Thursday, there was no quorum. No quorum was given by the 2x4 government, the 8 members. Where were the 8 members? The public wants to know, Madam Chair, through you, we would want to know where was the 8 members to give quorum so that all of this handling of credentials and moving on with the people's business could have been completed. But no, when asked, we have a speaker's time, because I'm not finished. When asked, where were the members of the 2x4? If all 9 of us swearing in, we ain't showing up. That was a message conveyed from that camp. Then, where was the other member? I was celebrating my birthday in Cancun. I was celebrating a birthday in Cancun. Where is Ms. Show Up? Oh, I got better things to do.
Mr.
because the
Marlin,
government is
you
not
are
there.
in
Madam Chair, I still have
notifications.
proper more things to say.
Mr. Marlin,
So,
you
Madam
are
Chair-
in notifications. I'm just reminding
Okay.
you of the brevity of notifications. Thank you.
Okay, Madam Chair, in closing, I would like to emphasize, show up. Show up, because I don't know if I self should show up to give quorum to allow this thing to continue like that. I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Marlin. And I continue, and I see that MP Otley is requesting the floor for notifications. MP Otley.
Madam Chair, thank you. Good day to my honorable colleagues, the viewing and listening public, and the potential MPs to be. Madam Chair, I have a question, particularly to you. How long? How long will you continue to attach your face to a government that seemingly be of chaos? How long will you attach your face to a coalition that obviously does not show up? You see, what happened last week, it was tried to be twisted and use a political narrative that, oh, the 7 opposition members did not show up to allow the young men to come in. But that is the responsibility of not only us, but the coalition to properly plan. And what I realized is that while one person may be off island, there were other members not here to allow their incoming coalition members to come in. And today, again, we see some of the members not here. Regardless, if you were here before, you are not here to handle it. So again, it is dependent on us to now approve the credentials of these 2 young men to allow them to take part in a coalition in which we are opposition. So I said to you, Madam Chair, how long? And I say to you, incoming members of parliament, realize, and maybe think if this is a coalition that you want to attach yourself to. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, MP Otley. And I see MP Roseberg is requesting the floor for notifications. MP Roseberg, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you to the SG and my colleagues here present, also to the listening public online and here present today. I'm happy to see that we have quorum. I believe seeing that we are here and should be here as 15 members of parliament, it's not the moment or time to play politics with this matter. We have to make sure that our Parliament is at its full capacity, and seeing the current change and us not being at its full capacity, we need to focus on that and make sure that the credentials are being handled and the new members of Parliament can enter. So I think that should be the focus point, and I would like to leave it at that. I thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, MP Roseberg. I continue with MP Jacobs, offering you the floor. MP Jacobs, for notifications.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning to you. Good morning to the Griffier, the persons in the Tribune, of course, to my colleague members of Parliament. Madam Chair, I am concerned. In these notifications, I definitely do not see the need to be wasting the people's time. However, but I find it important to note that throughout our tenure as government just passed, I was asked constantly, do I have a government? Do I have support in Parliament? Do I have support in Parliament? And I am concerned that the situation that unfolded on Thursday, where the coalition was not able to field their aid support, to show support for seeing that their resignation would go into place on Friday, I find it very unfortunate indeed that these two gentlemen sitting here today were not approved on Thursday with the support of their own parties. This comes into question on whether the particular member that mentioned that he would not be here and is still not here today to support this based on the fact that he didn't become a minister. I find that very unfortunate indeed, and the people of St. Martin deserve better, Madam Chair.
Thank you, MP Jacobs. I don't see, and I recognize that MP Doran is requesting the floor for notifications. MP Doran, you have the floor.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Thank you. Good morning to my colleagues, persons in the Tribune, and a special good morning to the people of St. Martin that are tuning in. Madam Chair, you only get one chance to make a first impression. And the impression of this current coalition for me, as my colleague explained, is chaos. Because when we put our people in a position where they are not sure if we're going left or we're going right, it was pushed to the limit where we almost had to serve 3 months because of their lack of assertiveness, lack of transparency with this entire process. Madam Chair, I saw a letter, 2 letters actually, dated on the 2nd of May, stamped into Parliament on the 1st of May, to effectuate on the 3rd of May. Madam Chair, those letters are quite questionable, and to me, and based on feedback that I have been receiving, is semi-borderline fraudulent. And I would like to get some clarity on that point, based on the fact that those resignation letters were booked in on one day, dated in the future to effectuate the next day. That is quite concerning because it gives me an impression in the direction that this coalition is going. And for me, Madam Chair, that is quite worrisome. And I believe that today it's clear to see that the support for the government is not there. It wasn't there last week and it's not there today. Madam Chair, the last thing I want to do after working a full term is set St. Martin back 20 years. And I will do everything in my power, the constitutional power that I have here as a member of Parliament to represent the people, to make this right. I heard my colleague mention about no time to play politics. My dear colleague of the USM faction, the ones that are playing politics are your colleagues that signed the coalition agreement with you. And that'll be all, Madam Chair, and I look forward to the discussion.
Thank you, MP Doran. we have come to the end of the notifications according to what I see from the screen. So we continue with the agenda point for this public meeting.
I'm sorry. It's for the life of me, I love the fact that these MPs, right, who just come out of government are the ones going like, we need to know if you have a majority. We need to know that you're strong and you're stable. This government is a joke. I love it. What is the parliament meeting without Bacchanal? So during the meeting, MP Duran decided to come with a proposal for a change in the agenda. Now, of course, the members of parliament have a chance to change or add anything to an agenda point once it was seconded or the majority of parliament at the time can vote on it. Sarah was put in a tight spot. Take a look.
And the agenda point is the examination of credentials and admission of members of parliament. It must be noted that this meeting was originally scheduled for Thursday, May 2nd, 2024, but could not take place due to the lack of a quorum. And the meeting was rescheduled again for today, Monday, May 6th at 9 a.m. Now, with the meeting able to continue, we continue with the agenda point for this meeting. And I give the following explanation. MP Duran, your proposal is? You have a proposal of order,
Yes.
MP Duran, and
Yes.
what is that?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have a proposal of order. I would like to adjust the agenda points and include two agenda points. The first one being the dissolvement of the presidium, and the second agenda point to appoint a new presidium.
MP Duran, this proposal of order, I cannot adjourn or I will not change the sequence of the agenda points for this meeting. So we will go over to the appointment of the credentials firstly. MP Duran, you want to respond?
Yes, Madam Chair, I would like for you to allow the members of parliament to vote on this proposal, if that can be possible. Based
No,
on the rules of
MP
order.
Duran, I can't in this particular case, given the constitutional requirement of the appointment of members by examining the credentials. So, who requested a point? I heard Madam Chair. From whom did that come?
Roll call.
You would like a roll call at this time. Secretary General, roll call, please. No, not at this stage, MP Utley.
MP Akeem Arundel. MP Egbert Duran. MP Melissa Gums. Here. MP Artwell Irian. MP Silveria Jacobs. MP Francisco La Cruz. MP Kevin Mingret. MP Cloyd Marlin. MP Omar Otley. MP Shamira Roseberg. Here. Chair Lady Sarah Westcott Williams.
Present. At this point in time, it has been determined by roll call that there are only 4 members present in the Parliament Hall. And that would mean that we cannot continue this public meeting of Parliament, and the meeting is therefore hereby adjourned. Meeting adjourned.
Yes, Sarah, I would have do the same. No, I got 3 and you got 7. No, you going to get rid of me? President of Parliament going to be somebody from National Alliance. Second going to be from the UP. The next one going to be from National Alliance. There's going to be 2 National Alliance and 1 member in the Presidium. And then Parliament will be controlled by the opposition. That would be unheard of. Or is it? No, it's not. There was one person that was celebrating all the way in Santo Domingo. Let me bring in our correspondent in Santo Domingo, who was busy with his vehicle today, but made time so that everyone could know that he is responsible for everything that is going right in St. Martin, and that everything that is wrong is Kevin Mingret and Chris Fault. Olivier, talk to me.
You know, as you see me this morning, I come. Yeah, I run in government from the garage. I come to, on the porch there. I come to change the tire because I had a little nail in the tire, so we changed it. But how I like that movement that went down in Parliament this morning. I like it. I like, but I understand what's going on. Kevin Mingret was in there like a little lonely soldier, and I don't understand what's going on. I hope by now Kevin Mingret realize that politics is all man for yourself. Christopher was in there again. I hope Kevin Mingret realize that all man for yourself. Sarah Westcott, if finished, your government does not have the majority. The government of Marcelina is an illegitimate government, sir. Your government does not have the majority in Parliament. So therefore, you have to leave. You have to leave. There is no confidence in your government. The government is over. But a lot of people in St. Martin don't understand. I told them before I make it, I'm going to break it. They don't want to understand what's going on. Look at this. The vital mistake they made with a bunch of stupid fellas is A. They gone into Parliament, first of all, without a majority. You're gone into Parliament, first of all, without a majority. Gracia is a minister now. Marcelina is a minister. You can't just slip it like that. So Sarah Westcott William, it's over for you. Yes, sir. Sivera Jacob, you're finally becoming a leader, man. You finally look like you got a little thing in you. You finally look so. You finally look so. That's why I name you the Super 7. Listen. Omar, but it's only now I could consider you Mary Solomon grandson, man. It's only now. Because listen, the amount of balls I see you got on this morning to make me feel like, okay, that Mary Solomon, that's Mary Elizabeth Solomon, grandson for real. That a fella I know I drink cocoa tea with. I know that fella I drink cocoa tea with because fellas that drink cocoa tea with me got balls. Walk out. Yes, sir, walk out. Do the walk, I walk out on them. Swaliga Movement for Change is going to have piece of the action there to represent the Swaligian people. There's 8,000 Swaligians right now in St. Martin that has nothing. And we, the Swaligian people, we are the third opposition. And as the third opposition, we moving things the way we're supposed to move things. We walk in, we are part of the process. So the Swaliga Movement for Change want representation. And the representation we want right now is for that government to go home. The one that was in. Because it was Swaliga Movement for Change with Olivier Arundel as the leadership that got them in the first place. And they are the same ones that turn around and backstab Olivier Arundel, if I remember. They are the same one that Christopher Emmanuel backstabbed. They are the same one that Kevin Mingret backstabbed. They are the same one that Lyndon Lewis backstabbed. They are the same one that Mafia Dr. Bitch Sarah Westcott backstabbed. Risha backstabbed. All of them backstabbed. They treated me like a dog. Yes, sir. They treated me like a dog. They treated me like I was insignificant. Like how they treat all other Swaligians. But guess what? Swaliga Movement for Change, we moving it in all kind of ways, in and out, anyhow, anyway. We talking to our OCISAs. We talking to our OCIAs. We talking to them left and right. We talking to them all kind of ways. While the fella there getting the nice Take it. Fixing my tie and thing for me. Huh? Putting it in there for me. Organizing it there for me. Organizing it there for me. I busy making sure that the government of St. Martin is kept in check. So you see, no matter what I do in my day, whether I fixing my tire, whether I ain't fixing my tire, whether I doing this, whether I doing that, whether I doing up, whether I doing down, I making sure keeping a check what going on in the government in St. Martin. We keeping a check on them. We making sure that they do things according to the rules of order. And guess what? According to the rules of order, I don't have the majority. Kevin Mingret, if you don't drop this government, if you don't remove your support for this nonsense that's going on, you be the biggest laughing duck in St. Martin. You better go some balls. Because Olivier Arundel, who you get rid of as your advisor, the best political advisor you could have ever had in your life, the fella that got you elected, the fella that got you selected, and the fella that got you appointed, told you, Kevin, become an independent member of parliament. And politics is nothing personal. No matter what Omar has done to you, no matter what all of them has done to you personally, when you are elected as a member of parliament, you have to do what is best interest of the nation and what is the best interest for you at that time. But guess what? You choose to follow Christopher Emmanuel. And now you follow Christopher Emmanuel. Where was Christopher Emmanuel this morning next to you? Christopher Emmanuel was not sitting next to you. You look like a lonely dog in parliament now. You look confused, you look dead, you look stupid, you look on your own. You're there by yourself, amateurs. Where is Christopher Emmanuel? If I was you, I would resign from the Now Party based upon what Christopher Emmanuel do to me. Right now, leave me in parliament by myself, and then I will go independent and haul my support for the government and join up with those Super 7 if you want to see again yourself a little sustainably or call for a new election. However you turn it or twist it. But then again, you're not going to listen to the advisor that you wrongfully get rid of.
Oh, that dirty nastiness. I swear to God. Oh, and I know he's going to actually come with this political party now. Oh my God, we're going to go Series 1. Andrew Dick is no good. I don't care. All right. The PFP. Listen, it's going to be a long one now, so all you sit back, relax now, because this show, I could not understand from how many angles these people are coming from, but of course the PFP had to come with their own angle, and they did a live explaining why they're disappointed that the incoming members did not come in due to the politics that is being played by the Super 7. Melissa Gomes, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm somebody, I understand 100%. We're all politicians here, definitely. I get, that game sometimes got to be played. But I think it's also part of our growing, our responsibility as a growing parliament to also recognize that sometimes you got to set politics aside. I'll be 100% honest with you. I'm not happy with how the meeting went. Most notably because there was something that was said that I find was a little incorrect. It was alluded to by MP Jacobs that MP Emmanuel was not here, even though he was here for the 9 o'clock, that he wasn't here because he's not a minister. And while I admit, in politics, sometimes it can be a little petty, I think the only petty label here is actually MP Jacobs right now. So MP Emmanuel had to leave to retrieve medication. As you know, he's been very honest about it, I believe, on his appearances on the Friendside radio station, that he has high blood pressure.
Just let me interrupt.
So he went to pick up
the good
medication.
MP.
And
please.
That brings me to my point, I think, for this live.
You see that?
While we're talking about medication.
So nobody could tell her.
So for 7.5
Bring the camera
months,
down a little bit.
The now
like you see the
former
headspace?
Government and coalition.
It's like she, Ray,
they were
Patrice,
at in Parliament.
and Ludi could fit in that whole space. Like somebody, please, tell the good MP when she does her lives, bring the camera down. That was annoying to watch. Like, She had a 12-minute video, and she just had it there all the time. And I'm just watching the screen like, what is happening? I'm not hearing what she's saying because of the space. Am I over-exaggerating? Oh, headspace. Because, let's continue the video. Sorry.
Not only were they at the deficit in Parliament, but they were at a deficit, even more of a deficit than the deficit that was imposed on them by the medical needs of MP William Allen. And I think, you know, it's important that we look back on that, because it's not old history. It's quite recent, you know, 2022. For about 7.5 months, Parliament was held at just 14 members, which is not what the Constitution requires. Former MP Peterson was very vocal about that fact. He said, you know, we should have a full Parliament as required by the Constitution, 15 members. MP Marlin, at the time, that MP Marlin decided that they did not think that it was necessary to resign, and let the next in line come in, which was Dimarla Bega, I believe, on that slate. And, you know, we took full notice of that and said, well, if that's the way it's going to be, at the end of the day, the people's business has to get done. And that's why we made a concerted effort for those 7.5 months to provide quorum for many a meeting, not just the ones that we called, meetings that were called by that now defunct coalition. Meetings that were, you know, necessary, some that were not. Not gonna lie, there were a few meetings where I was like, do I really want to be here for this? But nevertheless, to keep the business of Parliament running, I'm gonna give quorum. And you know how they say no good deed goes unpunished? So it's a little funny to me to now have to sit in front of someone who gets up and makes a grandiose declaration. And he's not wrong. I believe every member of Parliament should show up, but you should show up whether it's for you or not for you. I think, you know, we strive as PFP to set an example of being there, even if it's not something that we necessarily want to be there for.
All right. Then, on Saturday, there was a St. Martin program on My 88, I believe, and it's the One St. Martin program. And they made a good point when it comes to the PFP and the hypocrisy having an issue when it comes to the governor being unfair to Ray Peterson. And they had this to say.
I see it happening because I saw a person from a particular party that for real does this, that don't say nothing, are very quiet when it comes to colonial matters. But now they are feeling the brunt of it. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Okay? Y'all know who I'm talking about. They know who we're talking about. They're feeling it now. But 4 years ago, when you look down the nose at everybody else was experiencing it, it was, oh, you know, the governor is so great, all these other matters are the matters of the Netherlands. They are mute about it. And then to see them come out in the press
But
about
they
the
gotta
issue.
defend their own, and I don't blame them because
Well, I do.
I don't blame them for defending their own, because that's what you say. And when you don't
was
speak
wrong
out,
before.
right? And when you don't speak out against injustice, period,
that's
when it comes to bite you now, you have sometimes that's how the ancestors are moved now, like make you happy.
okay. Well. Let me tell you, I got a good kick here about it, but it's also so disheartening. And then on the flip side, those who did,
Nobody made no noise, no conversation. We all went along with a plan, like Shishi is saying. And then now, because of our own selfishness, now when it ain't our team or our tribe in the hot seat, you kind of like glad for him that I just glad the system showing itself. I don't care what
everybody.
the thing like the PFP now. They don't talk out on these matters because they love their little colony, and not
That's
just PFP, all of them parties right now in government for them.
Okay, so you still with me? You're not confused, right? Okay. So to break it down into pieces, the Parliament of St. Martin have 13 members when it's supposed to be 15. 2 of the members supposed to come in. They are not going to come in due to the fact that they do not have a majority in Parliament, obviously because the 2x4 is missing 2 people, which is Luc Mercelina and Grisha Heiliger Martin, who are now ministers. They can't be ministers and parliamentarians at the same time, so they had to choose one. Therefore, they say forget MP, they want to be ministers. The 2 that have to replace them are being stalled, held up, not being admitted into Parliament due to the fact that there is no quorum for them to just accept the nominations credentials of these 2 young individuals who have to come in representing the 2 parties from the 2x4. When it comes to what happens next, well, according to the rules of order of Parliament, the third meeting is, if a third meeting is called on the same topic, it will go ahead with or without the quorum, so without the support of Parliament. However, the Constitution is very clear when it comes to the approval and disapproval of Parliament when it comes to a topic, which is majority at the time in Parliament would have to supersede the meeting still going on. So the meeting can go on, but that doesn't mean that it would be automatically accepted because majority at that time would have to take precedent, if you understand what I mean. So let's say, for example, if the 7 members are there from the opposition and there are only 3 persons or 4 persons that are there, or 5 or 6, 7 beats 6. You understand? So the opposition would have to be persuaded to allow these 2 members to come in so that they can stay in opposition. That's why Omar said during his speech on the floor of Parliament, we need to bring in these people so that they can be part of the majority of Parliament. I think not. You the one who have the majority of 8 people. You the one who didn't plan properly. So therefore, you the one who admit them. You don't need us. Meanwhile, 2 members went off island. Another one is off island of the 2x4. People are traveling left, right, and center. Some members of the Super 7 supposed to be going to Brazil next week. So Parliament will be basically quiet until maybe a month from now, maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks tops, when they come back from vacation. I mean, working. And then we'll see what happens in Parliament. In the meantime, this does not affect the Council of Ministers, so the ministers that went in. Another fight that is going on with the Council of Ministers is between the Council of Ministers and the Governor Ajamu Bailey. Because there's supposed to be 9 ministers, Governor Bailey only admitted 7 of the 9. The argument is, if you don't agree with signing the decree for the 2 ministers to come in, send out the decision that you don't want to sign to Holland and let Holland decide for you, since you can't make a decision on it or since you want to give a negative advice. Because the governor said in his speech, he's just following the laws. So follow your own law by sending it up for annulment, and then let the kingdom government decide whether they're going to accept the nomination of these 2 candidate ministers to come in. So that's one fight with the Council of Ministers and another fight in Parliament. Whew. Tired? I know. And this is just 3 days into the swearing in of the new Council of Ministers. We have a long road ahead, ladies and gentlemen, and we're here for it. Welcome to the Late Night Show. We have a good one for you. Let's begin.
for Flex by Telem.
Do you mean flex like this?
Definitely not that.
Do you mean flex like this?
No, definitely not that.
Do you mean flex like this?
No, definitely not Flex like that. Telem's Flex is a mobile plan that adapts to your needs. Each month, I get a preset monthly fee that has a set amount of data, SMS, and minutes. So I know what I'm getting. But say goodbye to overages and bill shock, because when I go over my postpaid plan, it switches to prepaid. So I have the flexibility to top up what I need when I need it. I'm in complete control. My budget, my rules.
Okie dokie. The millennials. I have a message for you. This one, I felt it. I loved the speaker. He made sense. I want you to listen. Parents, I want you to listen. People, just listen to this message. I loved it so much. I said, this has to be on the show.
I have yet to give a speech or have a meeting where somebody doesn't ask me the millennial question.
What's the millennial question?
Apparently, millennials as a generation, which is a group of people who were born approximately 1984 and after, are tough to manage. And they're accused of being entitled and narcissistic, and self-interested, unfocused, lazy. But entitled is the big one. And because they confound leadership so much, what's happening is leaders are asking the millennials, what do you want? And millennials are saying, we want to work in a place with purpose, love that. We want to make an impact, you know, whatever that means. We want free food and beanbags. And so somebody articulates some sort of purpose, there's lots of free food and there's beanbags, and yet for some reason, they're still not happy. And that's because they're missing, there's a missing piece. What I've learned is that I can break it down into 4 pieces, right? There are four things, 4 characteristics. One is parenting, the other one is technology, the third is impatience, and the fourth is environment. The generation that we call the millennials, too many of them grew up subject to, not my words, failed parenting strategies. Where, for example, they were told that they were special all the time. They were told that they could have anything they want in life, just because they want it. Some of them got into honors classes, not because they deserved it, but because their parents complained. And some of them got A's, not because they earned them, but because the teachers didn't want to deal with the parents. Some kids got participation medals. You got a medal for coming in last, right? Which the science we know is pretty clear, which is it devalues the medal and the reward for those who actually work hard. And it actually makes the person who comes in last feel embarrassed because they know they didn't deserve it. So it actually makes them feel worse, right? So you take this group of people and they graduate school and they get a job and they're thrust into the real world, and in an instant they find out they're not special, their moms can't get them a promotion, that you get nothing for coming in last, and by the way, you can't just have it because you want it. And in an instant, their entire self-image is shattered. And so you have an entire generation that's growing up with lower self-esteem than previous generations. The other problem, to compound it, is we're growing up in a Facebook, Instagram world. In other words, we're good at putting filters on things. We're good at showing people that life is amazing even though I'm depressed. And so everybody sounds tough, and everybody sounds like they got it all figured out. And the reality is there's very little toughness, and most people don't have it figured out. And so when the more senior people say, well, what should we do? They sound like, this is what you gotta do. And they have no clue, right? So you have an entire generation growing up with lower self-esteem than previous generations, right? Through no fault of their own, right? They were dealt a bad hand. Now, let's add in technology. We know that engagement with social media and our cell phones releases a chemical called dopamine. That's why when you get a text, it feels good, right? So, you know, we've all had it where you're feeling a little bit down or feeling a bit lonely, and so you send out 10 texts to 10 friends, you know, hi, 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 because it feels good when you get a response. It's why we count the likes, it's why we go back 10 times to see if And if my Instagram is growing slower, did I do something wrong? Do they not like me anymore, right? The trauma for young kids to be unfriended, right? Because we know when you get a hit of dopamine, which feels good. It's why we like it, it's why we keep going back to it. Dopamine is the exact same chemical that makes us feel good when we smoke, when we drink, and when we gamble. In other words, it's highly, highly addictive, right? We have age restrictions on smoking, gambling, and alcohol, and we have no age restrictions on social media and cell phones, which is the equivalent of opening up the liquor cabinet and saying to our teenagers, hey, by the way, this adolescence thing, if it gets you down. But that's basically what's happening. That's basically what's happening, right? That's basically what happened. You have an entire generation that has access to an addictive, numbing chemical called dopamine through social media and cell phones as they're going through the high stress of adolescence. Why is this important? Almost every alcoholic discovered alcohol when they were teenagers. When we're very, very young, the only approval we need is the approval of our parents. And as we go through adolescence, we make this transition where we now need the approval of our peers. Very frustrating for our parents, very important for us. It allows us to acculturate outside of our immediate families into the broader tribe, right? It's a highly, highly stressful and anxious period of our lives, and we're supposed to learn to rely on our friends. Some people, quite by accident, discover alcohol and numbing effects of dopamine to help them cope with the stresses and anxieties of adolescence. Unfortunately, that becomes hardwired in their brains, and for the rest of their lives, when they suffer significant stress, they will not turn to a person, they will turn to the bottle. Social stress, financial stress, career stress, that's pretty much the primary reasons why an alcoholic drinks, right? What's happening is because we're allowing unfettered access to these dopamine-producing devices and media, basically it's becoming hardwired, and what we're seeing is as they grow older, too many kids don't know how to form deep, meaningful relationships. Their words, not mine. They will admit that many of their friendships are superficial. They will admit that their friends, that they don't count on their friends, they don't rely on their friends, they have fun with their friends, but they also know that their friends will cancel on them if something better comes along. Deep, meaningful relationships are not there because they never practice the skill set, and worse, they don't have the coping mechanisms to deal with stress. So when significant stress starts to show up in their lives, they're not turning to a person, they're turning to a device, they're turning to social media, they're turning to these things which offer temporary relief. We know, the science is clear, we know that people who spend more time on Facebook suffer higher rates of depression than people who spend less time on Facebook. These things balanced. Alcohol is not bad, too much alcohol is bad. Gambling is fun, too much gambling is dangerous. There's nothing wrong with social media and cell phones. It's the imbalance. If you're sitting at dinner with your friends and you're texting somebody who's not there, that's a problem. That's an addiction. If you're sitting in a meeting with people you're supposed to be listening to and speaking, and you put your phone on the table, face up or face down, I don't care, that sends a subconscious message to the room that you're just not that important to me right now, right? That's what happens. And the fact that you cannot put it away is because you are addicted, right? If you wake up and you check your phone before you say good morning to your girlfriend, boyfriend, or spouse, you have an addiction. And like all addiction, in time, it'll destroy relationships, it'll cost time, and it'll cost money, and it'll make your life worse. So you have a generation growing up with lower self-esteem that doesn't have the coping mechanisms to deal with stress. Now you add in the sense of impatience. They've grown up in a world of instant gratification. You want to buy something, you go on Amazon, it arrives the next day. You want to watch a movie? Log on and watch a movie. You don't check movie times. You want to watch a TV show? Binge. You don't even have to wait week to week to week, right? I know people who skip seasons just so they can binge at the end of the season, right? Instant gratification. You want to go on a date? You don't even have to learn how to be like, hey. You don't even have to learn and practice that skill. You don't have to be the uncomfortable one who says yes when you mean no and says no when you mean no, but yes when you... You don't have to swipe right. Bang, I'm a stud. Right? You don't have to learn the social coping mechanisms. Everything you want, you can have instantaneously. Everything you want, instant gratification. Except job satisfaction and strength of relationships, there ain't no app for that. They are slow, meandering, uncomfortable, messy processes. And so I keep meeting these wonderful, fantastic, idealistic, hardworking, smart kids. They've just graduated school. They're in their entry-level job. I sit down with them and I go, how's it going? They go, I think I'm gonna quit. I'm like, why? They're like, I'm I'm not making an impact. I'm like, you've been here 8 months. You know? It's as if they're standing at the foot of a mountain and they have this abstract concept called impact that they want to have in the world, which is the summit. What they don't see is the mountain. I don't care if you go up the mountain quickly or slowly, but there's still a mountain. And so what this young generation needs to learn is patience. That some things that really, really matter, like love, or job fulfillment, joy, love of life, self-confidence, a skill set, any of these things, all of these things take time. Sometimes you can expedite pieces of it, but the overall journey is arduous and long and difficult. And if you don't ask for help and learn that skill set, you will fall off the mountain, or you will, the worst case scenario, and we're already seeing it, the worst case scenario is we're seeing an increase in suicide rates, we're seeing an increase in this generation, we're seeing an increase in accidental deaths due to drug overdoses, we're seeing more and more kids drop out of school or take leaves of absence due to depression. Unheard of. These are all, this is really bad. The best case scenario, those are all bad cases, right? The best case scenario is you'll have an entire population growing up and going through life and just never really finding joy. They'll never really find deep fulfillment in work or in life. They'll just waft through life and it'll be just, it's fine. How's your job? It's fine. It's the same as yesterday. How's your relationship? It's fine. Like that's the best case scenario. Which leads me to the fourth point, which is environment. Which is we're taking this amazing group of young, fantastic kids who were just dealt a bad hand. It's no fault of their own. And we put them in corporate environments that care more about the numbers than they do about the kids. They care more about the short-term gains than the long-term life of this young human being. We care more about the year than the lifetime, right? And so we are putting them in corporate environments that aren't helping them build their confidence, that aren't helping them learn the skills of cooperation, that aren't helping them overcome the challenges of a digital world and finding more balance, that isn't helping them overcome the need to have instant gratification and teach them the joys and impact and the fulfillment you get from working hard on something for a long time that cannot be done in a month or even in a year. And so we're thrusting to them in corporate environments, and the worst part about it is they think it's them. They blame themselves. They think it's them who can't deal. And so it makes it all worse. It's not. I'm here to tell them it's not them. It's the corporations, it's the corporate environments, it's the total lack of good leadership in our world today that is making them feel the way they do. They were dealt a bad hand, and I hate to say it, but it's the company's responsibility. Sucks to be you, like we have no choice, right? This is what we got, and I wish that society and their parents did a better job. They didn't. So we're getting them in our companies, and we now have to pick up the slack. We have to work extra hard to figure out the ways that we build their confidence. We have to work extra hard to find ways to teach them the social skills that they're missing out on. There should be no cell phones in conference rooms. None. Zero. And I don't mean the kind of like sitting outside waiting to text. I mean like when you're sitting and waiting for a meeting to start, this is what we all do. We all sit here and wait for the meeting to start. Meeting starting? Okay. And we start the meeting. No, that's not how relationships are formed. Remember we talked about it's the little things? Relationships are formed this way. We're waiting for a meeting to start and we go, how's your dad? I heard he was in the hospital. Oh, he's really good. Thanks for asking. He's actually at home now. Oh, I'm really glad. It was really amazing. I know, it was really scary for him. That's how you form relationships. Hey, did you ever get that report done? Oh my God, no, I didn't. I'll help you out. Can I help you out with that? Really? That's how trust forms. Trust doesn't form at an event in a day. Even bad times don't form trust immediately. It's the slow, steady consistency. And we have to create mechanisms where we allow for those little innocuous interactions to happen. But when we allow cell phones in conference rooms, we just, okay, have the meeting. And then my favorite is like when there's a cell phone there and you go like this, you go. It rings and you go. I'm not going to answer that. Mr. Magnanimous, you know? When you're out for dinner with your friends, like I do this with my friends. When we're going out for dinner and we're leaving together, we'll leave our cell phones at home. Who are we calling? Maybe one of us will bring a phone in case we need to call an Uber or take a picture of our meal. That
goes without saying, come on.
I mean, I'm I'm an idealist, but I'm not insane. You know?
Not a heathen.
I mean, it looked really good. We'll take one phone. And so it's like an alcoholic. The reason you take the alcohol out of the house is because we cannot trust our willpower. We're just not strong enough. But when you remove the temptation, it actually makes it a lot easier. And so when you just say, don't check your phone, people literally will go like this. And somebody will go to the bathroom, and what's the first thing we do? Because I wouldn't want to look around the restaurant for a minute and a half. But if you don't have the phone, you just kind of enjoy the world. And that's where ideas happen. The constant engagement is not where you have innovation and ideas. Ideas happen when our minds wander and we go, and you see something, I bet they could do that. That's called innovation, right? But we're taking away all those little moments, right? You should not, and none of us should charge our phones by our beds. We should be charging our phones in the living rooms, right? Remove the temptation. You wake up in the middle of the night because you can't sleep, you won't check your phone, which makes it worse. But if it's in the living room, it's relaxed, it's fine. But it's my alarm clock. Buy an alarm clock. They cost $8, right? I'll buy you an alarm. But the point is we now in industry, whether we like it or not, we don't get a choice. We now have a responsibility to make up the shortfall and to help this amazing, idealistic, fantastic generation build their confidence, learn patience, learn the social skills, find a better balance between life and technology, because quite frankly, it's the right thing to do.
That is it for Late Show. Thank you so much for joining us, of course. Whenever you feel down, don't forget, wood.